When you drop 2 games on the road and you're coming back home, the one thing you want to do is make a statement. And that's exactly what the Knicks did last night when they obliterated the Milwaukee Bucks. Even though the Bucks won their second game of the season and they looked like they were going to build momentum, the Knicks took all that momentum away and built their own. And now the Knicks have a chance to add on top of this win streak when they face the Indiana Pacers on Sunday. But today, it's all about the Knicks destroying the Milwaukee Bucks off of amazing defense from OG Anunoby and another amazing game from Karl-Anthony Towns. We're going to break down all of these latest reports and so much more today. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button now. And make sure you have notifications turned on so you don't miss a second of the new content. And now, let's get started. The Knicks obliterate the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, I don't know if you guys can hear it in my voice, but I'm a little hoarse right now. That's because I was at the game last night. I felt the energy out of MSG. I felt that building shake. I saw Jalen Brunson, Karl-Anthony Towns, OG Anunoby, and that entire Knicks team abuse Milwaukee from the opening tip-off all the way to that last quarter. What we saw the Knicks do was remain aggressive, not only on defense, but on offense as well, too. They kept attacking the Bucks time and time again in the paint. And even though they had a lot of open looks from three, they really weren't hitting the three ball like they usually do during this game. They were missing a lot of open threes. And when they saw that, credit to them. They went into the paint and they kept attacking and attacking and attacking. OG Anunoby and that legendary defense was on full display last night. You want to talk about Giannis. You want to talk about a superstar. Let's talk about who shut down that superstar. Now, you can only shut down Giannis so much. He's going to have a decent game, and he did still have a decent game. But OG Anunoby was the reason he had that decent game. His defense, not only on Giannis, but at times on Dame Lillard, at times on other players on that Bucks team. It was disruptive. It caused problems. It made them rush their shots, and it allowed a lot of turnovers. And the Knicks were able to convert on points on those turnovers. You got to give credit to OG Anunoby, but you also have to give credit to Karl-Anthony Towns. He comes to the Garden again, and he has another big, amazing game. He does it against Giannis. He does it against Brook Lopez. And mind you, why did Doc Rivers have Brook Lopez all of that time on Karl-Anthony Towns? Did everybody saw what I saw during that game? He was cooking Brook from the opening tip till the time in the second half where Doc thought it was smart enough to switch Brook on somebody else and put Giannis on KAT. And even when he did that, it was too late. Karl-Anthony Towns and this Knicks team still found a way to abuse the Bucks. And how they did it was behind Jalen Brunson. You look at the score, you look at the stat sheet, you look at Jalen Brunson, and you think to yourself, why is he talking about Jalen Brunson? He had a really off night shooting. Off night shooting, yes. Helping the team win. Helping the team look better. Playmaking. Helping the ball move. That's what Jalen Brunson did last night. He recognized he didn't have his shot. He didn't have his offense. He didn't have it going like he needed to. But he recognized KAT did. He recognized OG did. So what did he do? He moved the ball, got others involved, got KAT involved. And because of that, this Knicks team looked better than ever before last night in a game where Jalen Brunson barely scored at all. Let's keep that in mind. But let's break down exactly what the Knicks did to Milwaukee last night and how they beat them down. New York destroys Milwaukee 116-94. The Knicks and all of their starters scored in the double figures again. Mikal Bridges, 17 points. OG Anunoby, 14 points. Karl-Anthony Towns, 32 points. Jalen Brunson, 15 points. And Josh Hart, 11 points. That marks, again, another time the starting five all scored in double figures. It actually marks the 7th consecutive game in which all 5 starters scored in double figures, which is a franchise record for this Knicks organization. You want to know how each and every starter continues to score? It's because everyone in the starting unit is understanding of what the game plan is, understand who's hot, and understand sacrifice. Jalen Brunson, he understands sacrifice. Everybody wants to see so much more from Mikal Bridges. Last night, he gave you a lot of the defense he reminded you he had when he was with the Phoenix Suns and with the Brooklyn Nets. We saw that on full display last night against the Milwaukee Bucks. What we also saw was him picking his shots, picking his time, and making sure when he got the ball, he made quick decisions with it. He went inside the paint and got easy baskets. Or when he was open from the three, he hit those shots. Another thing to notice, even though the Knicks didn't shoot great from the three-point line last night against the Milwaukee Bucks, I love the way they created those three-point shots and how they were able to get open. The way they did it was an easy way, but it's a way they have to do each and every time. Penetrate, kick out, create, and give it to the open shooter. And if that shooter's not available, keep swinging the ball until you know somebody has the ball with a more open shot than you do. One of the stats that jumps off the page from last night's game is the number of assists the Knicks had to close the game. Take a look at this. Last night, the Knicks had 35 assists on the night in comparison to the Bucks 20. 35 assists. They were moving that ball each and every possession, getting everybody involved, and that made them unpredictable. The Bucks didn't have any idea who was going to shoot the ball, who was going to drive with the ball, and it caused a lot of problems for their defense. And Milwaukee's defense is already bad enough. If you do that against a Knicks team who's hungry, wants another win, is passing the ball like that, and is also rebounding the ball like that. 48 rebounds to 41. 14 of those rebounds were offensive in response to the Milwaukee Bucks' 11 offensive rebounds. Steals, 7 steals for the Knicks, 1 steal for the Bucks. The Knicks were playing defense all night long. Talk about steals. OG Anunoby was a thief last night, stealing that ball from anybody who had it in their hands. If you were Giannis, that ball was going out of your hands. If you were Dame, that ball was going out of your hands. If you were trying to rush against the Knicks in transition and OG was in front of you, he's stealing that ball from you, and then we're going in front of you for a transition bucket. We also saw the passing ability of Jalen Brunson to an OG Anunoby in the corner, or him driving inside, or to a Karl-Anthony Towns with the pick and roll. I have been begging to see the Knicks abuse this pick and roll more. And last night, you saw that. The Knicks were abusing the pick and roll between Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns. They were doing it on the top of the key. Towns was rolling, Jalen would find him, and then he would either slam it home, get a foul, or shoot that three, or fake the three and drive anyways. Towns was impressive again last night on the offensive end. When the defense looks like it did last night, when the offense is humming the way it was last night, nobody's going to complain. Nobody's going to talk about minutes. We're going to talk about the wins. We're going to talk about the victories. And we're going to talk about the Knicks adding another W in the win column. Knicks All-Stars last night did their thing against the Bucks, especially Karl-Anthony Towns. He had 32 points on 12 of 20 shooting, 4 of 8 from 3, 11 rebounds, 5 assists in 32 minutes. Towns got a long, nice rest on the bench in that fourth quarter because he went off for that entire game. Our captain, Jalen Brunson, 15 points, 6 of 14 from the floor. Again, he did not shoot the ball well. He could not find his shots. But what he could find was his teammates. 9 assists on the night, and he was a plus 28 on the night, which was a game high. When you're a plus 28 for the game and your offense doesn't look great, that means you're doing everything else on the court to help your team and be impactful. And Jalen was absolutely doing that. He's not going to get credit for this, but I'm going to give him credit for it. Jalen Brunson's defense last night was very good. He forced a lot of turnovers and forced a lot of the steals that OG Anunoby took. So I got to give credit where credit is due for Jalen Brunson and that defense. I love what I saw from him last night. His passing last night, very good. He was playing the passing lanes very well. A lot of things Jalen Brunson was doing was things that you would expect him to do if the ball is not going in for him. I also thought that Karl-Anthony Towns knew that nobody else on the Knicks could really get it going on offense. He had to be the number one last night. And I think everybody on the Knicks recognized that and kept feeding him the ball, kept giving him the ball in good situations, good positions. And because of that, he was able to thrive. Not to mention that Milwaukee's defense really isn't anything. Once you get past your first defender, nobody else is going to meet you inside the paint, and you can do anything you want. And Karl-Anthony Towns was doing anything he wanted. Driving inside, dunking the ball, three-point shot here, three-point shot there, faking the three, driving inside, finding somebody else at the top of the key or in the corner. He was capable, and he was doing all of it last night. And if he continues to put up numbers like this, he is going to be voted another All-Star in the Eastern Conference, and maybe, just maybe, he might make All-NBA first team. Because if you play like this, you give us numbers like this, you're a force like this for this Knicks team, there's no way anybody in the NBA can deny you. Something else that the NBA can't deny is that these three players for the Knicks have become significant players for us, crucial players for us, especially OG Anunoby. Last night against the Bucks, 14 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks, plus 19. Something that won't get said enough is what OG Anunoby does for you that you can't see on the box score. And that's that legendary defense. Giannis was in jail. Dame was in jail. Anybody you put OG Anunoby on will be in jail. Defensively, this man is legendary. He makes this Knicks team just look different, just look better, and he's another weapon that anybody who's going off, the Knicks can deploy him on, and he won't be going off anymore. OG is a defensive monster, a stopper, somebody you do not want guarding you. You don't believe me? Ask Giannis Antetokounmpo. He was frustrated from the first touch to the last touch of that possession when he was facing the Knicks. One main reason why. OG Anunoby. My goodness, what a defensive masterclass we saw last night from OG. A great performance, and I'm so happy he's part of this Knicks team. You want to know why he got that contract? You want to know why he's worth all of this money? Rewatch last night's game. Rewatch that defense. That's why he's worth every single dime. Now, Thibodeau did mention Josh Hart, and he mentioned that Hart is going to go after those loose balls, and he's going to hustle. Well, last night against the Bucks, 11 points, 4 of 5 from the field, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, 0 turnovers. He was nearly a triple-double last night, and you didn't even notice it when you were watching the game because everything he did was a hustle player type of mentality. He got those loose balls, got those rebounds, cleaned up as somebody missed underneath, got the second chance opportunity for the Knicks, and was able to pass it to the open man to get us a better bucket, get us a better shot. Josh Hart was very impactful for the Knicks and our win last night. We don't talk about him a lot. We talk about KAT. We talk about Brunson. We talk about Mikal. We talk about OG. With good reason. We should talk about those players. But an unsung hero, somebody that will continue to likely be an unsung hero for the foreseeable future for this team, is Josh Hart. The way he plays defense, the way he pushes the pace, his one-on-one fast break coast to coast, what he does when he gets that ball by himself that nobody else can do. The one-man fast break that Josh Hart is. When you see it every game, you realize just how impactful and valuable Josh Hart is to this lineup, especially when you look at the bench and you see that we don't really have a lot of bench scoring coming off of there. But we still have to give praise to the bench and one player in particular, Deuce McBride. Deuce is looking like a Sixth Man of the Year candidate. Look at his numbers last night against the Bucks. 14 points, 5 of 11 from the field, 2 threes, 5 rebounds, a plus 21 for the game. And he did this coming off the bench for New York. Again, New York's bench right now is very weak. We're very thin. We don't play the bench a lot. And when we do, it's not really significant minutes. So Deuce McBride, he's the person we normally look at off the bench to give us a lot of scoring and give us a lot of minutes. And last night, once again, he did not disappoint. Gave us the defense that we wanted. But that's just Deuce McBride. But also gave us the offense. Shot that ball when he was open, was able to penetrate and create and get other people involved. That's what you want to see. That's why he was a plus 21 for the game, because his impact was felt everywhere on the court. He was getting rebounds. He was shooting threes. He was making plays. He was scoring the ball. But more importantly, he was giving the Knicks exactly what they needed: consistent bench scoring. If we're able to get this Knicks team to look like this each and every night, where we're dominating teams defensively and running through them offensively, we're not only going to be a dangerous team, we're going to be a team that come the postseason, nobody's going to want to see in a 7-game series. Because if we're able to give you this level of aggression on both sides of the ball, who can stop that? Who's going to be able to deal with that stifling type of defense and that type of offense that is nonstop, aggressive, that can come from every single person in the starting unit? Every single starter, once again, was in double figures, because each and every single one of them is capable. And that's why I know once the chemistry fully comes together, we're not only going to be unstoppable, we're going to be one of the hardest teams in the NBA to beat. But until we get there, I'll hang my hat on tonight. I'll hang my hat on 116-94 beatdown of the Milwaukee Bucks. And I'll hang my hat on the fact that this Knicks team tonight, during this game against the Milwaukee Bucks, looked better than I've seen them look ever during this entire season on both sides of the ball. When you're aggressive like that, anything is possible. But what about you guys? What did you think about the Knicks obliterating, destroying, taking down the Milwaukee Bucks last night? Let me know in the comment section below, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below. And of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans, take care of yourself, your families, and each other. Peace and love.